Hello from me and welcome back to our story time. Hello everyone. So it's me Nastya and today I'll be reading a wonderful book about a giant George who was fed up with being scruffy. And what happened? So let's read this book together and we'll see. Okay? So let's get started. Are you ready to read a book? Yeah, super. So let's open this book together. Yes. Wow, look, who is it? Look, is this man big or small? Yeah, he's very big, very big. And he's a giant. Yes, and his name is George, by the way. Okay, so let's start reading. So George was a giant, the scruffiest giant in town. He always wore the same pair of old brown sandals and the same old patched-up gown. "I wish I wasn't the scruffiest giant in town," he said sadly. Yes, he was very scruffy. What happened? But one day he noticed a new shop. It was full of smart clothes. So he bought a smart shirt, a smart pair of trousers, a smart belt, a smart stripy tie, some smart socks with diamonds on the sides, and a pair of smart shiny shoes. "Now I'm the smartest giant in town," he said proudly. George left his old clothes behind in the shop and he was about to go home when he heard a sound. He heard a sound. Who was it? On the pavement stood a giraffe who was sniffing sadly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my neck," said the giraffe. "It's so very long and so very cold. I wish I had a long warm scarf." Poor giraffe, he was very cold. Poor giraffe. "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his stripy tie. "It didn't match my socks anyway," he said, as he wound it round and round the giraffe's neck. "It made a wonderful scarf." "Thank you," said the giraffe. Wow, look, now the giraffe is not cold. So George strode towards home. He sang to himself, "My tie's a scarf for a cold giraffe, but look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." Well, yes, now he's smart, he's not scruffy. George came to a river. On a boat stood a goat who was bleating loudly. "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's my sail," said the goat. "It blew away in a storm. I wish I had a strong new sail for my boat." Poor goat, look, it has no sail. What can we do? "Cheer up," said George, and he took off his new white shirt. "It kept coming untucked anyway," he said, as he tied it to the mast of the goat's boat. "It made a magnificent sail." "Thank you," said the goat. So George strode on, singing to himself, "My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town." So he's still very smart, even though he has no shirt and no tie. So George came to a tiny ruined house. Beside the house stood a white mouse with lots of baby mice. What happened? Well, "What's the matter?" asked George. "It's our house," squeaked the mother mouse. "It burned down, and now we have nowhere to live." "Oh, poor mice." I wish we had a nice new house. Well, what happened? Cheer up, said George, and he took off one of his shiny shoes. It was giving me blisters anyway, he said, as the mouse and her babies scrambled inside. The shoe made a perfect home for them. Thank you, they squeaked. George had to hop along. Look, now he's hopping, but he didn't mind. As he hopped, he sang to himself. Might tie the scarf for cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. Look, isn't Giant smart? Okay, maybe he's still smart. George came to a campsite. Look, campsite. Beside the campsite stood a fox. Who was crying? Who was crying? What's the matter? Asked George. It's my sleeping bag, said the fox. I dropped it in the puddle. I wish I had a warm, dry sleeping bag. Well, poor fox. Well, cheer up, said George, as he took off one of his socks with diamonds up the sides. It was tickling my toes anyway, he said, as the fox snuggled into it. It made a very fine sleeping bag. Thank you, said the fox. George hopped on, singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. But look me up and down, I'm the smartest giant in town. Well, next. George came to a big squelchy bog. Beside the bog stood a dog who was howling. What's the matter? Asked George. It's this bog, said the dog. I need to get across, but I keep getting stuck in the mud. I wish there was a safe, dry path. Well, poor doggy. We need a path. Cheer up, said George, and he took off his smart new belt. It was squashing my tummy anyway, he said, as he laid it down over the bog. It made an excellent path. Thank you, said the dog. The wind started to blow. Look, it's windy. But George didn't mind. He hopped on, singing to himself. My tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. My shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. My shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of my socks is a bed for a fox. My belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. But what happened? What happened? What do you think? What happened? Let's see. My trousers are falling down. Wow, trousers are falling down. I'm the coldest giant in town. Yeah, he's very cold. Suddenly, George felt sad and shivery and not at all smart. He stood on one foot and thought, I'll have to go back to the shop and buy some more clothes, he decided. So he turned round and hopped all the way back to the shop. Well, but when he got there, it was closed. Oh no, the shop is closed. Oh no, cried George. He sank down on the doorstep, and a tear ran down his nose. He felt as sad as all the animals he had met on the way home. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he saw a bag. with something familiar poking out of the top. George took a closer look. What was there? My gown, he yelled. My dear old gown and sandals. George put them on. They felt wonderfully comfortable. I'm the coziest giant in town, he cried, and he danced back home along the road. Outside his front door stood all the animals he had helped. Wow, look, who can you see? Here is a giraffe, here is a goat, so a white mouse with lots of baby mice, here is a dog, and here is a fox. So they were carrying an enormous present. Come on, George, open the present. George untied the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful paper crown and a card. And look, the card says, "To George." So look inside the card, said the animals. George put the crown on the head and opened the card. Inside it said, "Your tie is a scarf for a cold giraffe. Your shirt's on a boat as a sail for a goat. Your shoe is a house for a little white mouse. One of your socks is a bed for a fox. Your belt helped a dog who was crossing a bog. So here is a very fine crown to go with your sandals and gown of the kindest giant in town." Look, here is a giant, and here is a paper crown. So yeah, super. So a giant was very kind, and he helped all the animals. So that's it for today. So we've read this book together. So do you like the story about George, who was scruffy, then he became smart? It was great. So now it's time to say goodbye. So goodbye, everyone. Have a good day. So see you. Take care and stay healthy. Bye-bye.